What do today's Russian newspapers tell us about the authorities' approach to young people in Russia? Well, we clearly see attempts to instill what those in power here would call patriotic values. From the government paper Rossiyskaya Gazeta, for example, we see that when Education Minister Sergei Kravtsov met Vladimir Putin yesterday, he said that Russia's education system is now based on traditional values, love for the motherland, family values. It's very important to protect children from destructive content. All schools have moved over to the national messaging app Max, more than 20 million teachers and schoolchildren. The national messenger is a state-controlled messenger. Popular Western messaging apps have been subjected to widespread restrictions and blocking. Nezavisima Gazeta reports that an obligatory history exam is being introduced for all students in 9th grade without exception. 9th graders are 14 or 15 years old. For the Russian authorities, the past is a priority, or rather their view of the past, and trying to make sure that the Russian public sees and interprets history as those running the country do. A Russian academic is quoted as saying, "Over the last 4 years, we have seen clearly that due to a number of well-known political, ideological and social factors and events, the importance of the Russian history subject as a whole has been radically increasing." That last 4 years reference is another way of saying since the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine. The writer points out, though, that until recently many school teachers had, and most likely still have, personal preferences when it comes to interpreting historical events. And until recently, history was not taught according to a state-approved textbook, but in accordance with the tastes and attitudes of a particular teacher. And now all of this has to be brought to a common denominator by tomorrow. A headline in the Russian Army daily Red Star: "Today a young army cadet, tomorrow a defender of the fatherland." The Young Army Cadet movement was set up in Russia a decade ago. This report from Volgograd points out that since the start of the special military operation, Russia's war on Ukraine, many young people in Volgograd who had joined the Young Army Cadets have gone on to join units fighting on the front line. Finally, Kommersant reports that Russia's parliament is considering ways to reduce youth crime online. Over the past 4 years, there are those 4 years again, over the past 4 years, the number of crimes committed by children using the internet has more than doubled, according to data from the Ministry of Internal Affairs. The ministry believes it is necessary to fight this crime with the help of special temporary detention centres for young offenders, where educators can work with difficult teenagers. The Education Ministry is calling for the standardisation of psychological and pedagogical approaches in schools. The Digital Development Ministry is calling for the widespread use of access for parents and children to psychological help online. Experts have suggested copying the example of other countries by restricting children's access to social networks.